Welcome back to Gaming Daddies, where we play more and dad better. This week, we're diving headfirst into a series of different topics, a Microsoft series, one could say. But tonight, we are covering a wide variety of different topics. We're covering some of the interesting news that's going on in Xbox Studios with their new CEO. We're covering, what we're playing, what we're gaming, how our summer gaming is going, what we have in lock, because we're pretty well about halfway through, hunkered down into this summer break season. So we're going to cover what we've played so far, what we are currently playing, and what's on the docket coming up, as well as other interesting news, catching up on, parenting life and just what's going on in our worlds. So grab your favorite controller. Did you like that pause? Settle in and let's break down all the biggest reveals from gaming's biggest summer. Let's get into it. I was in flow state, as they could say, and then I got to that last sentence. I was like, "Ooh, how can I salvage that?"
I'll give you so many aura points.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
Nobody does.
But I'll take it.
So, interesting times upon us.
Interesting times are upon us. So, lots to get into today. So before we get into the Microsoft Elephant Xbox Series elephant-sized animal in the room, how about we cover some summer gaming? Some summer gaming.
So I know we've talked about it kind of, between us and our text messages or whatever. So, what are you playing right now?
Actually, my right now, kind of in a lull. I finally finished Octopath Traveler, the first one for the Switch that came out several years ago, and I picked it up about 2.5 years ago now, I guess. Finally finished that yesterday after, I believe my final log time was 88 hours and like 27 minutes or something like that. It's a very long time. And so I'll give you a very brief review of what I think, even though it's, 7-8 years old now. If you're a fan of JRPGs in their truest sense, this is the game for you. However, it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of like lore and establishing things and really fleshing out characters and their situation, things like that. So there's what's unique about this game is that you can pour in upwards of 100+ hours easily, or you could probably finish this game in about 8 or 10. It kind of depends on how you want to approach it. It's called Octopath Traveler because there's 8 characters in this game that you can recruit. You pick one. At the very beginning of the game, you pick whatever of the 8 that you want, and each of the 8 have their own specialty. So you can kind of start where you want, whatever appeals to you, and each of those 8 characters have their own story. Then from that point, you can go and recruit any of the remaining 7 characters in any order that you like, or you don't have to recruit anybody, or you can recruit one more, or up to 2 more, or however many. You can play this however you want. And each character has their own story, like I said, that's split across 4 chapters. They're all independent of each other. There's at some points some of their things kind of loosely connect to somebody else, depending on what it is. But what's really, really unique about this game is that, yes, there's a lot of reading, and I spent a lot of time reading, and it kind of got intrusive at times, but the story is great, especially if you're really following along with it. It's really, really great. Although they have 8 separate characters with 8 separate stories going through this, if at the end of the game, once you've finished your final character's chapter 4 story, their final chapter of their story, you have to do all 8 in order to unlock the two side quests that get you to the true ending, that get you to the
Mhm.
true final boss. Which at that point, doing those two side quests, that's when it starts connecting all eight of their stories together. So all eight of these characters are connected in some way, but it's not stated how through their own individual stories. It's not until those optional side quests, those two at the end of the game, in the post
Yeah.
game, does that really kind of intertwine it together and then get you to the final boss, which is really cool. So I haven't done that. That's going to be a journey for another day. I've completed my 8 traveler stories and I was happy with it. Combat's amazing. The combat system's amazing. The leveling system's awesome. The skill system, all that stuff is really, really top notch to me. This game took a while for me to fall in love with. Um, it's one of those, it's a one and done for me. I'll never play through this story again because of how much time it takes to get into it.
Mhm.
But it's really, really fun. Um, yeah, it's a really, really good experience, even though it took me over the last 2.5 years. This is my third attempt playing through it for me to
Yeah.
really, really get into it. But I'm happy that I did. I'm happy that I finished it.
Yeah, I remember I started a character and I think I made it 30 minutes in and I was like, there's too much reading for this. I can't do this.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that there is a lot of reading, but
Yeah.
if that doesn't bother you too much, if you're at a point where you're like that stuff doesn't really bother you, you can kind of get through all that and really enjoy it, then I think you'll be
Sure.
perfectly fine. And then they have
So
the
what else?
traditional side quests, things that you can do outside of that, but I never got
Right.
into that because it's not really like, oh, go and do this. Now you need to go here. It's like kind of open ended on how you take care of that stuff. So, what were you
Yeah.
gonna say?
I said, so what else have you been playing? Just Octopath?
So I finished Octopath. I booted up my PS5 and updated all that. I put Final Fantasy VII Rebirth back on there because I need to finish it. I'm
Mhm.
71% complete on that. Um, I've also, I don't know if we discussed this since the last time we recorded, but I've been playing some Diablo 4. I finished Vessel of Hatred,
Yeah.
which I really enjoyed. The story of Vessel of Hatred is really good. And the beginning of Lord of Hatred is really like, wow. They're not messing around. It's really great, off to a great start. I'm still in the beginning part of it. But I'm in the middle of playing that now that I've put down Octopath. I'm going to get into that. And then I've just kind of been piddling onto some other things. I kind of jumped on the NSO, the Nintendo Switch Online Game Boy Advance library, and played
Sure.
around on WarioWare's um, mini game thing, whatever that game is called. And then I tried out Mario versus Donkey Kong, which is a nice little puzzler type game. But I mean,
Yeah.
other than that, I haven't really been playing too much of anything. I kind of piddled on Cuphead earlier this afternoon before I went to rehearsal. But other than that, not too much. That was a big meaty chunk that I just devoured yesterday. What
Yeah.
about you?
Well, I'm kind of in the same. So I jumped on Outer Worlds 2 ever since we got Game Pass back. And I think I'm in 50 hours. Mostly it's been while Ronan's at daycare or after we put him down, we'll jump in, do 2 or 3 hours. Or when he's at daycare, I'll put like 5 or 6 hours in.
Mm.
And so I think I'm 50 hours in and I can tell that I'm getting to the end. But I've been cleaning up all the side content, doing all the companion quest, doing all that, and I'm kind of ready for the game to end. It's kind of one of those things where it's like it's been enjoyable, but at the same time, like I want to do other things. So
Mhm.
I'm just kind of ready to let's go ahead and wrap it up. And so I'll probably stop doing any other side content and just focus on
Just
the
beeline it to the
main.
end.
Yeah. The only problem is it's one of those games that like if you don't do the side content, then it affects the ending. So it's like the side quests that you have to do all these fetch quests, or you do all these things to gain trust for these different for Auntie's choice or for the order, and then based on how much they like you or whether you succeeded, they'll join you. And so to get the whatever best ending, you got to do all this side content. So
Hmm.
anyway, long story short, it's been fun, but I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
Other than that, I jumped on Diablo 1 and remembered my glitches from back in the 90s. or early 2000s. And yeah, so ever since getting Game Pass back, it's been kind of interesting. Just the list of backlog games and games that I've got has just been phenomenal. So, and then putting them on PC, having the PC access, like playing Age of Empires 4, just
It's
it
nice.
makes so much more sense on PC than it does on console.
Yeah, it's nice. Are we a fan of having Game Pass back in our lives? Do we feel
Yep,
good about it?
yep.
$22.99 is what that costs now per month. For
Yep,
those of
that's
you,
why we got it back. Also, apparently, Ellen and I have been doing it wrong this whole time. So I didn't realize that Ellen could play on her profile but use my Game Pass as long as it's on the same console. With
yes,
us having two consoles, we've always just expected to have two separate accounts. And I think it's because when we first got it, Ellen wanted to play Tiny Tina's or some kind of game with me. So we
yeah,
bought her an Xbox and Game Pass to play with me. And then when we canceled her Game Pass, she tried to play a game on her Xbox and it wouldn't work, even though I had Game Pass because it wasn't my home console.
hmm
So, I mean, it just made this big long path of, well, I don't have Game Pass and I can't play on my account. So what's the point? And so, anyway, long story short, we found out with our new stuff that no, you can play your account and it still counts as progress and it doesn't affect my save states. And you still have access to all the games I have. So, that's been pretty nice.
yeah, yeah. I will say it's very nice to have. It's very 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 cool. So, yeah, I'm a fan of it. I like that they dropped the price. $22.99 is kind of an arbitrary number, but I mean, I'm not going to
Sure.
complain.
Well, and again, it's one of those things where it's like, I get why you did what you did. I'm not saying it was a good idea, but now that we are, now that we know what we're doing, I think we're in a better place. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, cool.
yeah. So
So, what is it? Was that all you were playing? Was Outer Worlds, or were you playing something else?
yeah.
While
Well, no, I mean, 50 hours was a lot.
sure.
Basically, doing not Borderlands, doing. Oh, I did jump into Borderlands for a couple of hours, and I was just like,
Oh,
I
how
don't know.
far we have come.
I just couldn't. I couldn't get into it, man. I don't know if it was because the gameplay's so weird, if it's the open world map, if it's. I don't know.
I think
I
it's
don't know if I just.
the game didn't age well in my opinion. So
Yeah.
jumping back into that it just felt clunky and weird. So
I'm even talking about the new one.
oh, you're doing 4.
Yeah, like, I tried to
Oh,
jump back onto 4, and I was just like, "Man, I'm not enjoying this, like, it's not fun to play."
might be because of Outer Worlds.
Yeah, that was before I jumped into Outer Worlds.
I got no defense for it left, so I don't know.
I don't have any idea. Anyway, so, yeah. So next, after this, I think I'm gonna jump into either South of Midnight or, what was the other one? Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth.
There you go.
And High on Life 2. And then we are going to do our Final Fantasy off. So
Ooh.
our Final Fantasy run of 6.
And since you brought it up, I mean, we can go ahead and have a discussion about this.
Well, I haven't played it at all, so.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Well, this is our pre-playing discussion. That's what I'm
Oh.
getting at here. So, yeah. So for those of you that haven't been keeping up with us, I don't even know what this dated back to, but we've set a goal. We have a gentleman's agreement that we're each going to play through Final Fantasy VI because Tedder has not done that yet. And I feel like it's probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest entry in the series. And it should be experienced because the storyline is just amazing, 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 amazing. So that brings up this topic of which version of Final Fantasy VI are we going to be playing?
Oh, I'm doing the Game Pass version.
Okay, so that would be the Pixel Remaster. Let me see. Did I download that one? Because I have this for my SNES Classic, my Mini, and of course I have access to the Game Pass Pixel Remaster as well. So, um,
Are we sure it's the.
oh yeah, it
eh,
is. Yeah, better graphics and things like that.
Because I know there's the bundle, but I didn't see where it said. Oh, it does say Pixel, right? Okay.
Yeah. And they're slowly adding each of those entries into this. There's a few on here now already.
Yeah, they have
Uh,
1 through 6 already on there.
okay. So the Pixel remaster comes with new features on it that's not available in the original version. Features. So visual and audio overhauls, quality of life features, including customizable XP and guild boosters, diagonal movements, some UI revamps, and a better musical score. So, you can adjust the experience, skill, and magic AP by factors of 0. So normal, I guess, 0.5, 1, 2, or 4. And you can also turn encounters off. So it's just like if you're playing 7 on like PS5 or something like that.
Okay. And I'm going to be honest, because of limited time, this is a 40-hour plus game. I'm going to say we do the 4 times multiplier.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, so if you're just the mainline, the main story, it's going to be, since if we do the Pixel remaster, it's going to be about closer to 20 hours. But yeah, so that's what I was going to say is like, do we want to set some guidelines, like how are we going to play it so we have an equal level playing field for the both of us, so we can turn up the XP, Gil, and Magic modifiers by 4 times.
Yep, that's what I would say.
I mean, I've already played through this vanilla anyway, so that won't
Mm-hmm.
bother me to do all that. So yeah, so we'll just whenever we'll hit each other up and be like, hey, so we're gonna start, and then we'll get into it, and we'll kind of update the audience with our progress. So we may get this
Yep.
done within a week. Just kind of depends on how much we dive into it. Um,
Yep.
You might need a walkthrough for this. I don't remember if it's if it's like, hey, make sure you go and do this, or if you have something that keeps track of your
Well,
quests or whatever.
we'll say it's not off the if you need to use a walkthrough, use a walkthrough. If you want to do it without one, do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to be mostly concerned with story content.
Yeah.
Not really concerned with you know, difficulty of bosses, battle, all that. I'm not going to be concerned about that. So
Sure.
I'm going to focus primarily on playability, quality of life, and story content.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good to me.
Okay. Well, unless you've got something to add, let's go ahead and talk about some depressing news.
Let's go for it.
So I know everybody probably knows this already, you know, all 14 people in the world that probably watch our podcast, but Xbox has made some quick, hard, and fast changes. The first of which being they are raising the console prices again. So to give you a review, Xbox Series S, this is let's call this the 1080 HD version of Xbox. Okay, 512 gigabyte, came out in November of 2020 at $299. The 1 terabyte version, this is all digital by the way, the 1 terabyte version was $50 more. The Series X, which is the 4K version, digital, came out at $450. The disc version came out at $500, and the 2 terabyte version came out at $600. Okay, now in 2025, they raised the price. They raised it twice that year. It ended in October of 2025 at everything being at least $100 to $150 or even $200 higher. So the Xbox Series S went up $100. The Series X's respectively went up $150 each. And the Series X 2 terabyte went up $200. Okay, now in August, they're going to raise everything up the same amount for a third time. Same amount for a second time, but so this means the Series S, which started at $300, will be $500. The Series X, which started at $500, remember this is the 4K version, is the same price, started in November 2020, was the same price as the 1080 version is going to be in August. This now is going to be $800. So the same console that you bought 5 years ago for $500 is now $800. Thoughts?
It's terrible. It's terrible, but there are many factors that are going into the price hikes.
Mhm.
Hardware components are becoming uh more expensive, so that's making it more expensive to manufacture these consoles. But it's just a lot. And
Mhm.
I cannot be prouder of purchasing. I got my PS5 not brand new. I bought it from my niece's husband who was looking to get rid of it, and I got it for $400, and I couldn't be happier.
Mhm.
Because even at launch, it was $500, and the current price with it right now is $650, and there hasn't been anything that indicates that it's going to go up higher in the future. But for the Nintendo Switch 2, which it's going to go up to $500, it's a $50 price hike. But Xbox is getting hit really hard with that, and it's ridiculous. It's becoming a true investment. And so a lot of discussion is, being had, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I see here that the Series X, the 2 terabyte, is being discontinued.
Yep.
Like they're not going to manufacture any of those anymore.
Nope.
Um, but they're keeping the 1 terabyte X, and they're keeping the Series S. But $300 from original launch price to now, or from coming up in August, it's silly. It's that's banana nut muffin on a Sunday morning. And they're trying to market this stuff and trying to move product and move sales and all that. And they have Project Helix in development. So that's, well, that's far and away in the future. The- we're in a world where we're going to see our first console be over a grand easy. And what makes it even crazier is that starting in August on the 1st, they're doing a buy now, pay later program
Mhm.
like we do with cell phones and things like that. And that's where we're at. They're trying to we're at a point now where our video game consoles are so expensive that we're starting to offer leasing options like they're a car to pay it off and all that stuff. And it's just
Yep.
it's silly. It's very silly. I for one never anticipated this. I, it's crazy. I mean, how is
Yeah.
that going to impact their market? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not. That doesn't affect me too much, at least right now, because I'm not in the
Yeah.
market for an Xbox. We still have our Xbox One that we use. But man, I don't know. That's just jaw on floor kind of thing. So, what about
Yeah.
you? What do you think?
Well,
I bet you're happy you
so
got that Series X now.
well, this is actually what drove that. So we bought at the $300 price, back in 21, 22. I bought an Xbox S. I was like, I don't need a Series X. I don't need 4K gaming. I didn't have a 4K TV. Or if I did have a 4K TV, I didn't really care about that if it wasn't a PS5 game. So I was playing games that were not high fidelity games. I was playing them more for the experience. And then now that they've got all these high fidelity games that I'm playing, like Outer Worlds, or they've got Fable coming out, Campaign Evolved coming out, um, you can really tell that it is not a 4K experience, and putting it down to 1080 does not hold up. Especially the Series S was getting about 30 frames per second, which is not bad, but you can definitely tell the clipping when they're moving. And so getting that extra 30 frames per second, yeah, you can definitely tell. So, again, the Series S is a great console for this generation if you don't care about the graphical concept of it. If you're just playing games to play them, or if you're playing older games or backwards compatible games, perfect. No issues. Okay. But when we saw that price hack, we were like, okay, we better jump on this before it becomes $800. Now, we lucked out. We found the Series X disc version because we were like, there's no point in paying an extra $50 for the disc drive if all we're going to use it for is Game Pass. And I understand future proof, blah, 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 blah. And we lucked out. Walmart has been running a sale where they're selling their Xbox Series X's. The digital version is $600. the full disc version should be $650, and they're selling them for $573. So we were like, let's go ahead and buy that, and then we're going to sell our two Xbox Series S's, especially since my PC runs Xbox games. So effectively, we're going to get rid of our two Xbox Series S's. We already currently have a PC running everything. And then we just bought that Series X to replace the two Series S's. So honestly, we're coming out in a better situation, and it does help us future-proof for longer, because there's going to be some games that aren't going to run on an S. And I'm sure y'all are probably going to run into this, where there's going to be some games come out that you can't even play on the Series 1.
Right.
Like, you're going to have to get an S or an X at some point.
Yeah. It's crazy. And so I'm looking at the Xbox Wire site, and we're obviously not the first
Yep.
outlet to cover this kind of topic, but I mean they've written, and I mean it's here in the writing, and it's signaling that things are not going to get any better, at least within
No.
12 months. The paragraph reads, last October, we increased Xbox console price by $20 to $70 in the US. We hoped another price increase would not be necessary, and we've spent the last several months working with suppliers on options. Unfortunately, console storage and memory prices have increased by more than 2.5 times, and we expect another doubling by the fall of 2027.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all linked to a components crisis. This is particularly hard on consoles. You're not going to see stuff like this on phones, computers, speakers, and other consumer devices. Consoles are typically not sold at a profit, but instead for less than they cost to make. So they're actually eating some of this. So I think a couple of things are going to happen here. I think you're going to see an increase in sales before August 1 for these Xbox consoles to get it while they can.
Yep.
I think you're going to see probably a higher flow of used Series S's predominantly, as people go ahead and move up to the Series X like you have done. Which, by the way, if you've checked price charting, you can probably make $250 off of each of those consoles. But that's just it's nuts. And how that's going to affect the consumer in the future is, for me personally, I'm not going to do a leasing program. That's stupid. I do that for the car. I do that for our phones. That's all I need to do it for. If I want a console bad enough, we're gonna start setting money aside, which is nuts to have to think about. Well, I'm gonna have to budget almost a year in advance just to purchase a console, But I mean, it's crazy. It's silly, 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 and I hate that. So we're in this for the long haul for at least the next few years.
Yeah.
Unless they can figure out this shortage of things.
And realistically, I mean, how much was a PlayStation 4 when it first came out?
$400, I think.
So,
and then the bigger version was like $500, I think.
So for a console that was, yeah, you're right. In 2013, it was $400. So subjectively looking at this, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox are substantially better machines than that generation.
Absolutely.
So realistically, they probably should have started at a higher price. If they would have started at 600, 650, there would have been a lot of backlash, but people would have accepted it a lot easier. I think that the hard thing to accept is the change of price. Technology does not age well. And so you're saying the same device that was worth $500 2 years ago is now worth $800.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't compute when you talk about technology. It should be going the opposite way because technology is getting older. So I think that's the hard pill to swallow. I think if it started at a higher price, yes, there would have been backlash, but people said, hey, this is 4K, this is higher fidelity, here's games that are playing on it at much higher rates, at much higher visual clarity, at 60 frames per second. Then people would have gone, okay, I get what the value is.
Yeah.
But it just sucks that we have to experience this, and we're in the middle of this crisis as opposed to the alternative. Now, it's just like you said, you can't go to Target, you can't go to GameStop, you can't purchase a Series X or a Series S. Like, the market has been eaten up. I
Mhm.
mean, and 2 weeks ago, you could go to Target and you could buy one off the shelf. You could walk in and walk out with an Xbox. Now you can't do that. So,
The other part of that conversation is, man, even secondhand selling of these consoles, they could probably get away with selling secondhand consoles at even a little bit higher of a price than what they
mhm.
would normally go for, as long as they don't reach a certain window of the new price that's going to
Mhm.
happen in August, just so people can still get it a little bit cheaper than what it's going to be. So you might see
Well,
that
and
too.
I mean, who's to say I go out, I buy a Xbox Series S for $400 today. If I can wait a month or two, then I can turn around and sell it for $450 in September
That's
and
exactly
say
right.
this is $50 cheaper than you're going to get it in store.
Yep.
And realistically, I mean, we'll probably try to sell our Xbox Series S's for $300. That's what we bought them for, and you can't buy one for $300 unless you get it
Yeah,
used on the internet.
exactly. And I mean, and you would not be unreasonable in asking for that. I think that at that point it would be a steal.
hmm
um,
So,
oh, I actually want to see this chart. Uh, let's see. Okay, so if the new price for your Series S is going to be $400, yeah, $300 would be perfectly reasonable.
but I mean, it's going to be $500
Oh, I'm sorry,
in
500
August.
bucks. You could get away with it probably 350, almost $400.
Well, and I might be able to, but I don't want to.
Right.
Like,
Just
I don't.
saying, you're probably going to
Right.
start seeing stuff like that.
hmm Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wild times in these streets, brother.
Now let's talk about the other bad news from Xbox. So Asha
Mhm.
Sharma also sent out a press release on June 10th talking about her first 100 days at Xbox. Now, there was a whole lot of bad news that came over with this. So let's break this apart. Number one, she states that there are over 1 billion players that choose to play Xbox in our games each year for a total of 72 billion hours across console, PC, mobile, and streaming. This excludes much of China and a few other properties. Our franchises are also among the largest and most beloved globally and now breaking records in TV and film. Going forward, our competition is attention. There are more great games, TV series, franchises, creators, content formats, apps, etc. than ever before. This is the first thing. That was her positivity sandwich, right? So she's starting with a big, strong positive. And by the way, this is all from Xbox Wire.
Mhm.
If you want to know where I'm getting my source from. Okay. Then she goes on to say, we will end this fiscal year at about a 3% accountability margin down year over year. Excluding Activision Blizzard King, over the past 5 years, we have spent over $20 billion on ongoing investments in our content, platform, and hardware subsidy. But our annual review has declined nearly $500 million during that time. Going forward, this cannot continue. Basically, she's saying Xbox is losing money.
Mhm.
And they can't. And she's right. I mean, Xbox can't stay afloat if they want. If they want to do this, Microsoft has to say, "Hey, if we want this gaming market to continue, you have to start making money. You can't be losing money." Then number three, we're in a hardware component crisis. When I joined CDO in February, the price we paid for console storage was over 2 times as high as we paid last fall. These costs have since doubled again. As we plan for the 2027 holiday season, we expect another significant increase, taking us over 5 times the prices we paid only 2 years earlier, which explains why they keep having to up the price of the console, which they were already taking a loss at when they first came out. Memory costs have followed a broadly similar trajectory. While the entire industry is facing components crisis, we believe we've been impacted more greatly than many of our peers due to the choices we made over the last half decade. We are currently unable to make as many consoles as players want to buy. That's a weird statement. We are currently unable to make as many consoles as players. So that tells me that all these consoles that were sitting on the shelf for the last year, she's saying that there is a demand for consoles somewhere in the world that is not being able to be kept up with.
That's interesting. I don't remember hearing anything about a shortage.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering, if this is not an American issue, if this is another country issue, because this was not an issue. There
I
were
mean, it's not an issue here, at least.
right. So the fact that we had so many consoles in surplus and they were at a trickle for sales, I don't understand why she's saying we are currently unable to make the number of consoles as players want to buy. Anyway, so and we need a new business model and partnerships for hardware as we remain committed to Helix. For anybody that doesn't know, Helix is the conjoined property of Xbox going into the PC world with Steam gaming. So they're trying to create a gaming console that will be able to play Steam games as well as Xbox games. So number 4, we expanded our studio system when we needed a pipeline of content to meet multiple strategies across subscription, streaming, and devices. In the process, we found ourselves overextended as we executed on changing strategies in a landscape of more readily available content. So pause. What she's meaning here is the guy that was here before me bought a whole bunch of companies and focused on this Xbox Anywhere and anything is an Xbox platform, and it did not bode well. It did not turn out the way they wanted it to. They wanted to say, hey, we're losing the console race, so let's just put as many games out there as possible. And when you look at the money side of that, it goes, that ain't working. What's really going to make us money is we need a console with exclusives, and so how do we make that back? Okay, continue. We are the fortunate stewards of industry-defining franchises that have enormous potential and player demand, but we have not adequately funded them to compete and win. Pause. The whole point of them gobbling up these studios was that they were supposed to be able to give them the money they needed to be able to write these games or produce these games that would make them money. They wanted Activision because Activision was making money, and they still are, and that's why they're kind of excluding Activision, Blizzard, etc. But there's other studios like Bungie, for example, that have not held up their end of the bargain because they've been trying to continue Destiny for so long that they have not made the $20 billion it cost to purchase them, and they're not going to make that over the time. So Bungie at the time looked like a great investment. However, they haven't made money because they haven't been given the money to make a new game worth selling. And there's several of studios that are in the same boat of, hey, yes, you have Xbox money, but you're not getting all that Xbox money, and we want you to push out games to put on Game Pass, but we're not giving you the funding that you need to be able to create these AAA titles that are going to bring everybody in and buy a new game. Okay, continue. At the same time, as we saw this past weekend, a showcase, a reliable pipeline of first and third-party exclusives and new IPs are critical to our success. We need to reassess the balance between these and our investment priorities for the next 5 years. So, before we get on to our last topic, what are your thoughts?
So I really feel like that this is the crap storm that has been building up. Like, we've been building up to this from the past decade, is what it sounds like.
Yes.
This is the previous CEO's decisions
Yep.
now coming home to roost, and now it's on Asha to have to say, hey, look, the decisions we've made in the past have not been good for our brand. It's not helping. It's not working. And so the vision now is to restore Xbox back to its former glory.
Yep.
And to do so, we need to do X, Y, and Z things.
Yes.
And and it's really hitting at a terrible time because the console price hike isn't their fault.
Nope.
They can't control component shortages. They can't control, what goes into that. And if they're truly not selling these consoles at a profit margin where they're selling it for less than what it takes to create them, then that's them trying to do us a service, but they're eating it at the worst possible time.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of we want Xbox Anywhere, now she's coming in and she sees that it's just this we've thrown everything at a wall to see what's stuck and nothing's stuck. So now I have to clean up this mess and we've got to reset the table. We've got to get rid of all the fluff that's not doing us any favors, that's actually hurting us. And we really have to boil it back down to what makes Xbox and how to rebuild the brand. We're in a rebuilding phase now. And it's all this bad news all at once. You're getting developers laid off. You're getting, studios closed down. You're getting games shut down and all this stuff because it's just not. It's not. You know, it's not palatable anymore. It's not doing them. It's hurting them more than what it's. Than what it's
Yep.
helping. Now, the argument could be made that that's not true for Destiny 2, and I'm of that camp. Even though I haven't played Destiny 2, I don't think that I think shutting them down was the wrong decision, and the outcry of support for that was evident in there. But anyway, um, it sounds like she does have a sincere plan in place, and that this is after not doing any homework of any sort of research into this.
Right.
But it sounds
And it's
like
very silent that she hasn't released what that plan is.
correct, but there is something that she has an idea of how to fix it. But in order to get there, we have to eat this giant turd sandwich first. And we
Yep.
have to get through this wave, this sea of bad news first before they can start to rebuild. And if that's the case, if that's what I'm understanding from this, then good on them. It's going to take them a while, though.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and
Um, yeah.
this is the hard part about, where we are is she has an impossible job. And I know that the hammer's coming down on her, as she's having to make all these decisions based on the downfall of, hey, the last 5 years, last 10 years, they focused on doing this direction and it didn't work. So now we have to pivot and we have to do something different. Now
Hmm.
I'm going to be the bullseye because I have to be the one to make these hard decisions.
Hmm.
When in reality, they never should have bought all these studios. They never should have done these things. They never should have. And so these people that are losing their jobs are not because of Asha. Yes, she's the one making the decision, but they're losing their job because somebody bought their company and they sold that company to them with all these ideas that didn't pan out.
Yeah. It was ill
So,
advised. This could have gone better
yep,
a decade ago, but that's a decade ago, and here we are now. And so, yeah, that sucks that she has to be the one that drops the hammer and, that has to clean the
yep,
table. But I mean, them's them's the rules, I guess.
yep,
But it genuinely sounds like she has a plan and she has a rebuilding strategy, and she's trying to maintain all that transparency with her company and with the people that are employed underneath her.
yeah,
So I think she is the CEO that they need right now.
yep. So, and I'm sure once everything's said and done, we're going to go, oh, hey, this was really good for Xbox, and Xbox is going to come back to being a domineering powerhouse like it used to be. But it just sucks that we're in this situation.
Oh yeah.
Xbox cannot lose money the way that they're losing money. They bought
Hmm.
all these studios, and it's not sustainable.
Hmm.
So they have to downsize, and they have to focus on a fewer source of games that are higher quality. You can't just keep pushing out B, C, D tier games just to put more stuff on Game Pass. You really need some high quality stuff. You need some major titles. You need Master Chief to come back. You need these main characters to come back and go, "Hey, we're system sellers. Come back to our system and then we'll start showing you these great titles."
And what they need is, and the same could be said about Sony. Nintendo will never, screw this up, but we need to go back to console exclusives.
Yep,
We need to stop putting, and I mean, other people have said this obviously, but like they need to stop putting everything on everything.
sure.
There's no reason why Halo should be on a PlayStation console. Period.
Yep,
That should just be an Xbox exclusive. And that's what needs to happen. We need to stop giving state secrets away because then nothing, I mean, you're not making your product more appealing by if you're going to give your mascot away to another, and have him go and play for the other team too. I mean, you're not doing anything to help yourself. Sure,
yep.
you have gears, but I mean, what's going to be more in terms of console exclusives? What's going to be more successful on Xbox, Gears or Halo?
Well, and then and they've already pushed Halo onto another device. So I don't know if they can get Halo back. I don't know if
Sure.
there's
So,
some kind of contract. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know because they have in the Activision contract that they are not allowed to make it exclusive.
mhm.
So I don't know if there's some kind of contract that they sold Halo to other platforms. I don't know. I don't know what has been said behind closed doors. So we'll see.
Mhm.
I don't. It's a weird. It's a weird decision that they pushed Halo off onto all the platforms as opposed to keeping Halo on Microsoft.
Who
So
knows? But we need to go
anyway,
back to the times of having true console exclusives, not even timed exclusives, just have true console exclusives. And that's going to help market your systems and your brand better that way.
yeah.
Um,
So, to wrap this up with her final statements, it says number 5, our current platform infrastructure is not built for the battle ahead. Our systems are overly complex, spanning hundreds of dependencies, meaning they have hundreds of companies underneath them, which hinders our ability to move fast, which we've seen. Why does it take so long? Why is Elder Scrolls 6 not already out? Why is so putting all these, stretching all these baskets as opposed to saying, hey, this team, you're going to work on the next Elder Scrolls game. Hey, this team, you're going to work on the next Fallout game. Hey, this team, you're going to work on the next XYZ. They need to do that to be able to push games out faster. There's no reason why the next Elder Scrolls game should take 20 years to come out. We've become too reliant on vendors to operate our systems and become more self-reliant as an engineering culture to build for the and must become more self-reliant as an engineering culture to build for the future. You can't rely on Samsung to come up with a device to be able to run all your games. You need to build a device that's going to run your games at high capability. We must increase the value we ship to players while decreasing the time it takes to do so. Agreed. Going forward, we'll evolve and rebuild our stack and look at capabilities across all of Xbox and potential M&A to help us win in hardware, PC, mobile, and streaming. When you say win, do I think you're going to win? No. I still think you're way too far spread out. I think you could win in PC. I think you could win in streaming, but I don't think you're going to win in hardware. And I don't think you're ever going to win in mobile. Um, I think Nintendo's going to win mobile, and I think PlayStation's going to win hardware. But you have a good, strong market that you could help with PC, especially with this Project Helix, and you could help with streaming with your Game Pass. Game Pass is stronger than PlayStation Plus. Game Pass is stronger than Nintendo NSO. So you can win in those areas, but you're not
but
going to win.
how, to what degree is Game Pass also hurting Xbox's console sales?
I don't think it is. I
Because
think
I could
what's
I could sell my Xbox right now and I could still have Game Pass on my computer. I don't have to have an Xbox for that.
But you're talking about a very niche market with PCs, which is the same reason why you're looking at Project Helix. People don't want to buy PCs because there's a whole lot of things that go wrong with PCs and they don't know how to work on them. A PC costs $1,500 to $3,000, and that's not even. I mean, at $3,000 for 4K. I have a $1,500 $2,000 PC, and it's only 1440. It can't even game at 4K. Or I can buy a $573 Xbox right now, which is about to be $800 Xbox, and I can 4K game on that. So you're not going to win in the PC market. There are people that don't want a PC that want to be able to game at that high fidelity. Not to mention space saving. An Xbox is half the size of a PC. Some people don't have the space for an entire PC to sit on their desk. Plus, a lot of people don't want to deal with the operating systems. They don't want to deal with BIOS updates, driver updates, any kind of updates. They want to be able to plug and play and go. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that PC owners know how to do naturally or natively that Xbox players don't, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to learn. They don't want to. They don't want to put all that time and effort into it. So,
I do think that while they're in this console hike crises or in this
mhm.
phase here, you're going to see a shift you're going to start seeing more PCs as forms of playing your media, I think, because you can build a PC or even buy a stock PC for cheaper or not for cheaper, but that can do more for just a little bit more if you're comparing price points and things like that. Um, but even when it says like, in my opinion, I don't think that there is any reason why they should not be winning in the hardware department, being under the Microsoft umbrella. They should be dominating hardware and PC. I mean, um, Well, maybe I'm reading that incorrectly. I don't know. Lots of information digesting. That's crazy town though. But yeah, she has a plan,
Yep.
but we're gonna
I think
be
she sees everything we see.
yeah.
And so, anyway, as she closes, she says, "For some of you, these realities will be surprising and even frustrating to discover. We won't succeed by hiding hard truths, nor will we succeed by doing the same thing and expecting different results. Like the everyday wins mentality from the first 100 days, we will sprint to make progress against hardware, content, experience, and services together. Xbox is one of the few places where people can not just play, but to connect with others to create memories. With console at the center of how our showcase experiences are defined, Windows is one of the largest gaming platforms in the world, and Incredible Games under our roof as one of the largest publishers in the world. We have a foundation. So let's reset for a stronger Xbox and build the number one gaming and entertainment company." I think that is a vision or a mission.
Yep.
So whether it's achievable or not, I don't think it really matters. But I do agree. I think this is the correct direction for them. It just sucks at the price that they had to pay to get there.
Yep. I don't know. I have faith that she can help get them back on track and get this where it should be. It's going to
Yeah.
take a while. You probably won't see the fruits of this labor for probably several, a few years or so. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to kind of keep up with it and see. We'll just kind of well, it'll be an interesting story to follow as it develops. And it's funny that we were talking about having this studio work on this and this studio work on that, and it brought something up that I heard recently on a separate um, news channel about GTA 6.
Mm-hmm.
GTA 6 is shaping up to be this giant cultural phenomenon, and it's going to be a stellar drop, which they're selling it for $80, which
Mm-hmm.
is going to be that's great. That's awesome. But do you know how many developers are working on this game?
No.
6,000.
Nope.
You know how many studios?
Nope.
10.
Am I surprised? Nope.
That is crazy.
I mean, you pretty well have to have that large of a thing to be able to do this. Now, we're also talking about the company that has unlimited money, do whatever they want to do. Like they can do whatever they want with no limits. So,
Because they're successful. I mean,
yeah. Well, and they know the next product that's coming out is going to be successful. So, anyway, we'll see. As things shape up, we'll see what happens. So, I don't know. It sucks that it's happening, but I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like every studio goes, or not every studio, but every company goes through this at some point. I'm sure Nintendo went through this, or I'm not sure. They did go through this way early on. I'm sure Sony has had experience with this. I'm sure, the PC market's had experience with this. I mean, this is not like it's a brand new concept that, oh, this company is struggling. That's just what happens when you have someone that wants to expand and broaden the horizons, and no matter what they did, nothing really worked out. So now we have to clean up and refocus and, find our inner zen again and try this all and, just rebuild. So,
yep, I agree.
There it is.
Anyway, man. All right. Well, I think it's a disappointing episode, but I think it's in the right direction. So we'll see how things turn out and see where we are next year.
I'm excited. It's going to be good stuff for them.
But we got plenty of games to play, so
yeah,
lots of stuff to do, and more things coming out this fall, and more things coming out in the spring. So
I'm going to be poor this fall, is what this is going to be.
Yeah, well, that's what Game Pass is for. So
fair enough.
Anyway, all right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us on today's episode of Gaming Daddies. Don't forget, you can catch the audio version of the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want the full video version, head over to youtube.com/@GamingDaddies and join the fun. If you'd like to support the show and help us take it to the next level, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/GamingDaddies. Big shout out to our amazing supporters, Sean Donahue and Clay Taylor. You all keep us going, and we couldn't do it without you. Until next time, this has been Gaming Daddies, and we'll see you in the game.
Peace out.